Hello, welcome. I'm Danica. This is a gentle yoga practice specifically for sciatic nerve pain. We're going to find some relief. So we will focus mostly on minimal functional movements to help that sciatic nerve glide more easily throughout your lower body. That's how you'll feel the relief because it can get sticky. And then we'll move into a more restorative held posture towards the end with our legs elevated either on a chair or on the edge of your couch. If you have a heating pad and a blanket, they might be nice to have for the restorative part of this practice, but they aren't necessary. When you're ready, gather the things that you'll need and let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and make our way into a tabletop, hands and knees. Place a blanket under your knees if you need to, spreading the fingers wide, finding a really long, strong spine. As you inhale, drop your belly down, reach your heart forward and through, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, gently rounding the spine. So let your movement be small here. You don't need to think about stretching anything. We're really using this time to just find the rhythm of your breath. Because I'm sure you know that when we're in pain, especially nerve-related pain, our nervous system is on high alert. So we want to use the breath to calm our nervous system down, which will in turn calm those guarding muscles and a little bit of the inflammation down so that that nerve can kind of unstick itself. So it's less about the movement here and more about finding the breath. So your movements can be teeny tiny. Let's just find one more. And then we'll come back to a neutral tabletop. Shift your weight over into your left knee, and we're going to very gently slide that right foot out to the side, placing the whole foot down on the floor. So your right arch of your foot is in line with your left knee. The toes are pointing forward and the heels pointing back. So here we're doing something called nerve gliding or nerve flossing. So we're moving the spine at the same time that we're moving the leg, and that's helping to move the entire nerve through its pathway that begins at the lower back and ends at the foot. So this is what it is. As you inhale, you're going to again drop your belly down, reach your heart forward and through, coming into that cow pose with your body, keeping the foot planted on the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to round the spine and then swivel onto the heel so the toes point up and the sole of your foot is pointing away from you. So that outer rotation is coming from up here at your hip socket, not your knee, not your ankle. And then again, inhale, drop that foot down, toes pointing forward. Inhale into your cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, swivel onto your heel. The sole of the foot's facing away from you. Inhale, cow with the body, foot flat on the floor. Exhale, cat with the body, rotating onto your heel. So do this a few more times with your own breath. We'll do one more round. Dropping the foot back down, coming into your neutral spine, very gently slide that foot back. And we're going to straighten the leg back behind you. Cross the right leg over the left onto the left side. Doesn't have to move very far. Press through the heel and gently look over your left shoulder towards your foot. Take one deep breath into the right side of your body. And exhale, bring everything back to center. Hands and knees, tabletop. Bring your knees just a tiny bit wider than your hips and sink down towards your heels, walking your hands forward into a child's pose. Take 2 breaths. And then we'll inhale our way back up into our tabletop. Slide that left foot out to the side. Arch is in line with your right knee, foot flat on the floor. As you inhale, reach your heart forward and through, keeping that foot planted. And as you exhale, rounding the spine, coming onto the heel of your left foot, sole of the foot facing away from you. Moving at your own pace. Let's do one more. Coming back to a neutral tabletop, sliding that left foot back. Stretch the left leg back behind you, press through the heel. Very gently move it over towards the right on the right side of the right leg. Looking back over your right shoulder towards your left foot. Take a deep breath into the left side of your body. And as you exhale, bring everything back to center. Okay, so now we are going to grab our blanket and our heating pad. If you're using it, you can plug it in, get ready, move to a chair or the edge of your couch. Okay, if you're using a heating pad, place it down right next to the edge of your couch on the floor. This will be for your lower back. And then I like to have a blanket for underneath of my head, but that's up to you. And then you're gonna bring your hips as close as you can to the edge of your chair or your couch and swing your legs up over, resting the legs down on the couch. So it might feel good for you to just have your legs parallel, but I found that it actually feels better to have my shins more apart and my knees knocked in towards each other. And that's just helping to provide a little bit more space around the SI joint, which tends to be a pretty common reason why we have sciatic pain to begin with. So you can experiment with what feels better for you right now. And then close your eyes. And think of your femur bone, your thigh bone, really heavy, sinking down into the hip socket. So just let it be free, let it be heavy. Notice what's going on with your breath. So I'm going to guide us through about a minute of a breathing exercise to help calm down the nervous system. And a really fun imagery to go along with this breathing exercise is to think of an ocean tide that goes out onto the beach. And then there's a slight pause before it retreats back into the ocean. Another slight pause before it comes back onto the beach. So the breathing practice is called Samavriti. It's equal breathing. So I'm going to use a count of 4 on the inhale, and then you just notice that very subtle pause between your inhale and your next exhale, which will also be for a count of 4. And then you'll notice that pause, and you can think of it in the same way as an ocean retreating and coming back out again. So go ahead and empty the breath out. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continuing on your own for a few more rounds. And allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. So you're welcome to stay here in stillness, just allowing those femur bones to sink down into your hips. Keep your breathing strong. Keep aware of your breath. This is doing a lot, whether it feels like it or not. If you want to come with me, and only if it doesn't hurt, we're going to bring the shins back parallel if they're not already there, crossing the right knee over the left. Here is another place to experiment, so you can keep the legs where they are, as far away from you as you can, still getting an outer hip stretch. Or you can start to bring the knees closer towards your body, but what we don't want is to lift our hips off the ground. So if that happens, then stay where it doesn't happen. So we want our lower back to be really heavy and secure and stable and even. So there's no pulling of any ligaments or joints or anything. So go where you feel just a little bit of sensation without much movement in the lower back. This is just a very gentle variation of a cow face leg. Checking in with your breath. Let's take one more breath here. And then we'll very gently slide the right shin parallel to the left. Take a deep breath in and out. Crossing the left knee over the right, if that's where you're going. You can move it towards your body if you can keep your hips stamped to the floor. Try to maintain that heaviness in the thigh bones. We'll take one more breath. And then gently moving the left shin parallel to the right. You can bring those shins wide again if that felt good for you in your lower back. Keeping the eyes closed. Find a little bit of space between your arms and your body so that your shoulders can relax. And we'll finish here together with a minute of Shavasana. Just 1 minute of silence and peace just for you. So closing the eyes, take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Let yourself be here. Let yourself feel at ease. Going to end the practice here so that you can stay here for as long as you're able to. This is doing a lot, even if it doesn't feel like it. I genuinely hope that this helped. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.